and refuse this proposal due to non-compliance with both the R codes and your own town planning policies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Knight. Mr. Roger Hearn.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, elected council members and administrative staff. My name is Roger Hearn. I don't live in Claremont at the moment, but I spent 45 years of my life being raised and living here just on the other side of the park, actually. Mrs. Knight has asked me to say a few words regarding the submission for the second story addition to her neighbour, that her neighbour's proposing. I am a retired architect, formerly registered with the Architects Board of Western Australia and the Royal Australian Institute of Architects. I grew up in our family home of 45 years as a Claremont resident, just a few hundred metres from here, and spent most of my career in the sphere of domestic architecture. I have helped Mrs. Knight understand the implications of this application by her northern neighbour. The following are some facts associated with this submission, and now is probably not the time to do it given the recommendation of your administrative body, but there are some factually incorrect statements made by the applicant in terms of his submission. We won't go into detail about that, but I would encourage you to listen to your administrative staff who have made a recommendation for refusal. The following facts are associated with this submission. The site area available for building is 415 square metres. Now, the title shows it's a 451 square metre lot, but 36 square metres of that is a public access way, which is 1 metre wide from the street frontage down to the rear of the property. That leaves an area of 415 square metres on which the proposal is to be built. Now, this room is probably about 125 to 130 square metres, so you can imagine the size of the block. What I'm going to read to you is the proposed accommodation. A second story addition comprising car parking for 4 cars in a lock-up garage, a lift, 2 full-size kitchens, 1 with scullery, 2 full-size laundries, 2 external clothes drying areas, 4 bathrooms, 4 toilets, 4 living areas, 5 bedrooms, which are nominated as bedrooms, 1 office, which is sized and located as a possible bedroom number 6, given that the upper floor has 2 complete bathrooms and 2 toilets, yet it only shows 1 bedroom on the plan. A walk-in robe that is large enough for another possible bedroom, that would be bedroom number 7. So we're talking about some fairly substantial accommodation. The upper floor balcony is large enough and shows seating for more than 8 persons around a table, with a separate sitting area for at least 2 people. It also shows 1 bedroom, coincidentally, but I believe that it would be eminently possible to have the office converted to a bedroom and the walk-in robe converted to a bedroom, should that be desired. They're both of compliant size and location for the second bathroom. In addition to that, there is a ground floor external area for private use. In my opinion, this accommodation is excessive for a 415 square metre site located in an R25 area. All this is being proposed with no change to the generous northern setback the applicant's property currently enjoys. The upper floor design pushes it towards the southern boundary, heavily compromising the overshadowing of the southern neighbour, that's Mrs. Knight, and the setback requirements of an upper floor. The applicant justifies this design purely on economic grounds. It entirely ignores the rights of Mrs. Knight, the codes and the Town of Claremont's own policies, particularly that of policy number 129. You, as a council, are charged with the responsibility to make decisions that will shape the town's future, and I urge you to listen to the genuine concern of Mrs. Knight and abide by the intent of your own policies, and in accordance with your own administration, refuse this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hearn. Mr. Heinrich Jacobson.
Good evening, Mayor and councillors. My name is Henrik Jacobson, live in Mount Claremont, and have for over 30 years. I'm the owner of 63A Bayview Terrace with my wife, Michelle. We've owned the property since 2011. We're seeking to upgrade and modernise the property for our own use, and in fact, we would like to make this our retirement home for many years to come. I made some key points to obviously the what's in the council documents. Lots of work have actually been put in to minimise disturbance and overshadowing and stuff to neighbours. Neighbour 65 has raised concerns about overshadowing. The roofline was modified to minimise overshadowing, and we've provided a couple of different scenarios to show that the current proposed roofline actually allow more light into her backyard than if we stick to a setback of 1.8 metres. The proposed angle of the roof has been made specifically to allow for light to the southern part of the block of the property. The lot boundary setback and compliance. Development in line with regulations but face challenges due to the shape of the block. We unfortunately a block which is front and back, where all the other blocks, our neighbouring blocks, are long, skinny blocks, which basically makes it impossible to build and apply with all building codes because the lots are so narrow. And there's blocks number 67, 69 and so on has been long, skinny blocks. The neighbour on 65 have got no north-facing windows and confirmed satisfaction with visibility to the west when we initially discussed it. Outdoor living areas and impact analysis. Neighbour 65 has 3 outdoor living areas. Front garden is approximately 50 square metres, no overshadowing at all. Middle courtyard, 14 square metres, will never be overshadowed because it's between the front property and the rear property. The rear courtyard is approximately 25 square metre. It has some shading from a large tree, and the disputed area we are talking about is 6 square metres. The overshadowing issue affects the 6 square metres for a period of between 0 to 4 months of the year when the sun is at the lowest. Privacy and visual impact. No major openings on the south side of our upper floor. No significant overlooking or privacy loss for adjoining properties. Secondary street setback and streetscape compliance. This is supported by the RDC. It maintains open sight down the laneway. Vehicle access remains unchanged. Solar panel placement. So neighbour number 65 has lots of roof area which can be used for solar panels, which will never be affected by any shadows whatsoever. The boundary wall and open space consideration. Boundary wall supported by RDC. No objections from the northern neighbour. Proposed second-storey additions aligns with the townscape. surrounded by other two-storey dwellings. Sustainability and greenery. The carport is not a garage, closed garage, it's a carport. It'll have a garden rooftop with greenery for visual appeal on the rear part of the property. The garage roof will have native greenery for added environmental benefits.
You have half a minute.
Thank you. The proposed development has been designed to minimise overshadowing and comply with town planning guidelines. The only disputed area is a small 6 square metre section affected for a limited period annually. That project aligns with local building patterns and sustainability efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobson. Item 7, I'll need some movers and seconders. Councillor Hatton is seeking leave of absence for the 26th of August 2025 Ordinary Council meeting. I need a mover and a seconder. Move Councillor Franklin, seconded Councillor Brown. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. And Councillor Cameron is seeking leave of absence for the 29 April 2025 and 27 May 2025 OCM meetings. I need a mover and a seconder. Move Councillor Swan, seconded Councillor Brown. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. We have a deputation. You've got the deputation? Sorry, I can't. You need your microphone on.
Sorry, I had also asked for leave of absence from the 30th of April till the 16th of May, I think, but it doesn't cover a council meeting.
Oh, Councillor Hatton seeking leave.
So it's
I did
okay?
that.
Doesn't matter? Okay.
Yep. Okay, petitions and deputations. Ms. Lola Webster of 1 Kepi Road has a petition. I'll need to get a mover and a I'll need to get a mover and a seconder that we accept it for Councillor Maynes moving, Councillor Franklin seconding. All those in favour? And this is to accept your deputation and then come back to you with a report. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lola, and this is Harrison. On behalf of our community, we are requesting the council to put soccer goals up in Claremont Park. After school, children would be able to practice their skills with friends and family, so it would pull the community together and create a healthy environment. While it would improve our community, the students of Freshwater Bay Primary School would love, care, and would benefit from the soccer goals.
As children, we are so grateful to be able to come to a safe park, knowing we'll be able to see friends and family. However, if there were soccer goals, it would encourage us to go to the park more often. Soccer has been getting more and more popular, so we should be encouraging our community to come down to the park and shoot some goals and play a friendly game. As a soccer player myself, I would 100% get a group of friends in together and arrange a meeting at the park so we can play with the soccer goals. This is a healthy way to get kids off devices and play outside together, as parents would agree is a better outcome. Thank you all for your time, and I hope you will consider our request.
Thank you very much for your presentation, young ladies. We've listened to you, and it's just a request, so we will listen to we've listened to what you said, and I'm sure my colleagues will evaluate what you said. But thank you for having the common sense to come and present it to council. Thank you both very much. School should be proud of you. I need move and seconder to confirm the 4 February 2025 OCM meeting minutes, please. Councillor Franklin? No? Councillor Franklin and Councillor Hatton moving and seconding. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. And also the special council meeting minutes of the 25th of February. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Hatton moving, Councillor Mayne seconding. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. Item 10 nil. Item 11 nil. 12.1.1 minutes of the Claremont Town Centre Advisory Committee meeting held 11 February. I suspect there's going to be some movement on the 12.2.1, so I'll get a mover and a seconder, if I may, for 12.1.1. Councillor Mayne moving, seconded Councillor Franklin. Councillor Mayne. I'll put it, all those in favour, carried, no dissent. 12.3.1, minutes of Lake Claremont Advisory Committee meeting held. Moved Councillor Franklin, seconded Councillor... Sorry, what was that? Yeah, Councillor Franklin. So I need a seconder for Councillor Hatton. Yeah. Well, they've indicated they don't want to speak. They've indicated very quickly they don't want to speak. So, correct. Okay, I'll put it. Did I miss that one?
Yes, that's okay. We'll go back. So just
The Town Centre Advisory Committee, did I?
that's okay.
Okay.
Just finish that one.
Okay, I thought I did the Town Centre
So
Advisory.
just put 12.3.1.
Okay,
Just put this one.
okay.
Just what we just need
So,
to vote on it.
I've got to get a vote on that one.
Yeah, get a vote on this.
12.3.1, all those in favour, carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. I thought I did this one.
So just go back and do this one.
Yeah, I've got to go back to 12.2.1, which is where I thought there may be some discussion. So I need a mover and seconder. Moved Councillor Swan, seconded Councillor Mayne. Councillor Swan, no. Councillor Mayne, no. Okay, all those in favour, carried, no dissent. Item 13.1.1, this is an absolute majority. I need a mover and a seconder, please, councillors. Move Councillor Swan, seconded Councillor Franklin. Councillor Swan.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. So this is about whether we should be adding super for elected members. So just for some context, the new superannuation provisions are compulsory for Class 1 and Class 2 local governments, with the payments of super for elected members remaining optional for Class 3 and 4, which we are part of. I personally believe it is important that any organisation, regardless of size or type of employment, that super is paid. We're not technically employed, but under the conditions for super, we are considered that it's possible for us to get superannuation contribution payments. Some of the reasons I'm in favour of the recommendation are that it aligns with the wider workforce, providing super brings elected members in line with the standard practices of a broader workforce. I know a lot of us see this as a bit of a community service, but we do get a stipend and it is work, so I think that we should be afforded that benefit. It encourages participation potentially. It helps attract a more diverse range of candidates, including younger women, individuals, and those from various professional backgrounds. And it supports retirement security. Many councillors serve for extended periods, and super contributions help build their retirement saving, ensuring that they are not financially disadvantaged for their time in public service. So for those reasons, I do endorse the recommendation. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Swan. Councillor Franklin, do you wish to add?
Just very briefly, thank you, Mr Mayor. I note that older councillors who these provisions will be irrelevant for can opt out, and I agree with Councillor Swan that it brings us into line with most employee organisations across the state and other councils, and it will encourage younger and more diverse candidates, not just retirees, and I think that's really important. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Franklin. Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Hatton speaking against.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I note in the report that the superannuation payments would be in addition to what we're paid already, so it would be a little bit more rates for everybody. Look, I think elected members join the council not for monetary reasons, but because they've got the knowledge, skills and interest to contribute. Younger people and women often, which is what we're talking about, other people are talking about, they would need the superannuation. Those people often don't have time to be a councillor, and I don't think the small amount of superannuation that we might pay would be a factor in their decision to become a councillor. So therefore I can't support the officer's recommendation. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hatton. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? I'll just make a comment that it is important that there is an opt-in, opt-out clause. So if you don't wish to be part of it, you don't have to be. So, and I totally understand how the two councillors have spoken for the approach that they're taking, and I understand the approach that Councillor Hatton's taking. So there's opt-in, opt-out. You don't have to take it if you don't want to. I'll put that. All those in favour? Oh, sorry, there was a speaker against. You don't wish to. I'll put all those in favour. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's Councillor Cameron, Councillor Mayne, Councillor Swan, Brown and Franklin and Barker in favour, and Councillor Hatton dissenting. It's carried absolute majority of council. 13.1.2, 2024 compliance audit return. Anyone wish to speak? I'll get a mover and a seconder then. Move Councillor Cameron, seconded Councillor Swan. Councillor Cameron.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The town is required to carry out an annual audit and to lodge it with the DLGSC prior to the 31st of March. Audits are essential, but they're stressful and time-consuming. The number of questions were over 90. There were 3 instances of non-compliance. These issues have been dealt with and acknowledged to the satisfaction of the Audit and Risk Committee. And I commend the governance team, the relevant business units and the executive team in completing the audit and with the results.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Councillor Swan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also like to commend the staff for getting through an audit. I used to work in internal audit, so I know how they work and how stressful they can be. As Councillor Cameron noted, that there are 94 questions and only 3 areas of non-compliance. 2 of the areas were related to tenders for providing goods and services, and I note that there is a new program of training and procurement, purchasing and contract management, which is scheduled in the 3rd quarter, so welcome that addition. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Swan. Anyone wish to speak against? I'll put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. Item 13.1.3, 2025, Australian Local Government Association National General Assembly calls for motions. I'll get a mover and a seconder so that you can do this at some stage if you wish. Moved, Councillor Mayne. Seconded, Councillor Hatton. Councillor Mayne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Local Government Association is really only interested in issues that affect all councils Australia-wide, and Claremont Council and all the councils in WA, and it seems throughout Australia, do have issues with the rollout of FOGO and recycling. It's a huge issue. Claremont wants to be on top of the recycling, and I think that it's something Australia-wide that the council, that we have to promote to make it work. And it's something that an individual council has no control over, so it'll be great if we could actually make that and get the policy, make it work better.
Thank you, Councillor Mayne. Councillor Hatton.
Nothing to add, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone wish to speak against? I'll put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. I propose to deal with the next item, 1, 2, 3, 4 items en bloc, but I will make a comment on item 13.1.4. The administrative error on page 105. I'm sure you're aware of that. And administrative error on page 119 on 13.1.5. You're all aware of that? Okay, administrative error. There's the wording no balloon payment for loan 2 to be removed, and 13.1.5 administrative error on page 119. The wording no balloon payment for loan number 2 to be removed. So if you're all clear on that, then I can get a mover and a seconder. Councillor Swan moving, Councillor Brown seconding from 13.1.4 to 13.1.7. You wish to speak? You don't wish to speak? I'll put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Item 13.2.1, 22 Lot 2 Barnfield Road, Claremont, single house additions to heritage listed dwelling. I will need a mover and seconder. Move Councillor Brown, seconded Councillor Franklin. You're almost going to move there, no? Seconded. I need another seconder. Councillor Mayne seconding. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I think with this application, again, it's great to see a heritage house being adapted and reused to a modern way and for modern living. I think this is a respectful addition, given the streetscape, and some comments, I guess, around the bulk and scale. I think we've got to be mindful that there is also a large kind of 14-storey tower overlooking, and just up the road as well, there's a Dean Street addition, kind of 4 stories high. Yeah, as I said, heritage buildings, they were built a long time ago for different needs, and they need to be modernised for families and for future use. The 6.6 metre wall height, in my experience, is difficult to achieve. Quality living spaces as well, and particularly tying in into heritage buildings as well, that often have larger ceiling heights and larger roof heights. But all in all, I think this is a great addition to Claremont, and I support the officer's recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. For the benefit of the audience, Councillor Brown is an architect. Councillor Mayne.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I'd like to agree with Councillor Brown. I think that there are some unique issues with this particular site. The slope and also the fact that that multi-storey building is behind does make it something that must be taken into consideration in this, and I agree that it should be approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mayne. Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Hatton speaking against.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, here we go again, bending the LPS 3 by allowing a 9.12 roof terrace in lieu of 6.6. We seem to bend these guidelines all the time, and I just worry that the more we do that, the more we'll be asked to do it. If there was no roof terrace, I'd be fine with this development, but as it is, I can't support the officer's recommendation. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hatton. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Brown, you have the floor to wrap up.
No further comments, thank you.
I'll put it. All those in favour? Councillor Cameron, Councillor Mayne, Councillor Franklin, Councillor Brown, Councillor Swan and Barker in favour. Against, Councillor Hatton. The motion is carried. Item 13.2.2, Lot 3, 51B College Road, Claremont, 2-storey grouped dwelling. Move in a seconder, please. It will lapse if I don't get a mover and a seconder. Moved?
I'm happy to move it, but I'll be speaking against.
That's okay. And the seconder, please. Councillor Hatton. That's okay, you can do that, but it's moved and you're both speaking against. Move, Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yeah, this was a difficult one, which kind of sat on all day. Understanding that this is a very small lot, and this is going to become a common issue, not just in Claremont and the western suburbs, but generally. I think overall, as a community, we really need to fight hard for, I guess, primary garden area in particular, and landscape space. And I think even though it's a 30 square metres against the 40 square metres in terms of a deemed to comply, as a percentage of a 230 square metre lot, that is a significant amount. Noting that there are some sewer lines as well, noted by the applicant, running along the boundary fences. I think with the current 30 square metre kind of garden area, even putting in vegetation with the sewer lines there would be difficult as well. And then this is further contributed by the reduced setbacks from 1.5 to 1 metre. I have seen developments on smaller lots and smaller footprints that have large garden areas, so I know it can be done. But in this case, I think the reduction of the primary garden area is a little bit too much for me, and I can't support the officer's recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Councillor Hatton.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Look, I support everything that Councillor Brown has just said, but again, we've got another DA with variations, and it does not meet the deemed to comply provisions of the RDC relating to, most importantly, the primary garden areas and then solar access, boundary setbacks and visual privacy, as Councillor Brown referred to. So I keep saying it, but the more variations we allow for one DA, the more difficult it will be to say no to the others, and for those reasons, I can't support the officer's recommendation. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hatton. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to? Councillor Main speaking for.
I'm speaking for, but probably with, I'm just basically not adding much more to what's been said, and I do feel very strongly about deep soil. I suppose the problem for our staff and us is the new addition to council approvals is that applicants can then apply to SAT if it's knocked back, and I think everyone must look at that with every knockback that we do. And apart from the mediation, it's a great cost to us through our staff having to go to that SAT meeting, and also their role is the final umpire, and it doesn't seem like we win them very often. So just to keep it real, that is something that the staff have to assess and juggle every time one of these decisions come up, and they have to decide, will this just go through anyway after mediation? So maybe I'm just saying it as devil's advocate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Main. Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Swan speaking against.
I am speaking just as, I guess, a rebuttal to Councillor Main's point, even though I understand where she's coming from. I think we are reaching a bit of a tipping point where we have often let things go through to the keeper because we're worried about the cost of SAT appeals, and we are also here to represent our community. So I do believe that this is an example of where we should do so. So I won't be supporting this recommendation. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Swan. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? Councillor Brown, you have the floor again.
Yeah, I think the other councillors that have just spoken, I think particularly Councillor Swan, I think she's correct in that we do probably have to kind of make a stand now, or who knows where, you know, we will end up with kind of variations and what will be left for the future generations if there's no gardens, no primary space, if we keep kind of contributing to the density like this. So yeah, again, I can't support this officer's recommendation. Thank you.
I'll put it. All those in favour? All those against? Carried, no dissent. Item 1323, Lot 263, Bayview Terrace. On the, sorry. Yeah, that's a point. Councillor Brown, being the architect, the reasons for refusal would be better coming from you than from us.
Okay. The primary garden area, it does not meet the primary garden area. Is that enough?
Happy with that, Councillor Brown? You have addition.
And I think the reduced lot boundary setbacks would impact the visual privacy of the neighbours.
Councillor Brown, are you now happy with what's there?
It's disappeared.
No? No?
It's not there. It's not their job.
So we have to re-vote because the reason's there.
Based on the reason.
Yeah.
It's
So all those in favour of the refusal? Carried, no dissent. Sorry, you're not? Yeah, sorry. Carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. The reason being put.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think again, just similar to the previous item, this is a lot of building, a lot of bulk, and the scale is, in my opinion, slightly out of proportion in this current setting, and for a retirement couple, as we heard from some of the speakers tonight, there's 2 kitchens, 8 bedrooms, multiple bathrooms and toilets. Again, I think the garden area is slightly compromised by the bulk and scale of this building, so I support the officer's recommendation in this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Councillor Mayne.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also agree with the recommendation for refusal, and again, it is an example of the wrong end of infill. Our council are all for increasing the concentration of our town. However, it shouldn't preclude design that tries to fit too much on a small block, and this is why state legislated design codes exist. The owner and architect should have thought before attempting to add a story to create what could be a build with 5 bedrooms plus office, as was mentioned, and a lift. Councils encourage large block subdivisions so that downsizing can occur. I'm afraid this house is upsizing as a result of what they're doing. It's not a downsize. Thank you very much.
Thank you, councillors. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? You're about to join the 9-1 club or something. So, Councillor Hatton, you're in favour. Okay, well, you're speaking for.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Why would you need such a large house for your retirement home? Why would you need 4 garage spaces? Why would you need 2 full-sized kitchens? Why would you need 5+ bedrooms? Why would you need 2 sitting lounge rooms and 2 dining rooms as well as an outdoor sitting room? And why would you need 4 bathrooms? Why would you need 2 laundries? It looks like they want to have 2 houses, one on top of the other. Add all that to the reasons this DA does not comply, and I'm led to support the officer's recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Hatton. Anyone wish to speak for? Anyone wish to speak against? I'll put the officer recommendation. All those in favour of the officer recommendation, carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. No reason needed because the reasons are there. Prioritisation of Claremont Foreshore Enhancement Plan projects. Need a mover and a seconder to get it on the floor. Move Councillor Cameron and seconded Councillor Hatton. Okie doke, Councillor Cameron.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move it, but with the full knowledge there is going to be an amendment. So I'll speak after the amendment if that's okay. So I'm moving it, but I'm aware that there's an amendment, so I'd rather speak after the amendment.
I need a seconder, or do you want me to? Yeah, I need a seconder. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So my amendment is on the screen. So what I'm saying is that we'll endorse the Claremont Foreshore Enhancement Plan listed as immediate priorities based on the weighted criteria, and consider the proposed project timeline for implementation of the Claremont Foreshore Enhancement Plan over the next 10 years, following consultation with the Foreshore Advisory Committee. So the Claremont Foreshore is a vital recreational, environmental and cultural resource. We all know that, and the enhancement plan ensures long-term sustainability and responsible budgeting. The prioritisation framework was applied with the council, but however the council and Foreshore Committee did not receive the table to show how that framework was applied, but we did receive something late this afternoon. What I'm looking at here is balancing the urgency with due process. So basically we need immediate decisions so that we can apply for grant applications and so that we can do seasonal revegetation. So that is why I'm saying that we will endorse the first year so that we can get those grant applications going, which are very important for fiscal management and to ensure some strategic planning. However, I do believe that it's very important that the Foreshore Advisory Committee get to see the whole plan, because the Advisory Committee has been involved from day one, and we really do respect their decision-making and their advice. So I think that this amendment supports timely grant application and aligns with the seasonal revegetation, but it also grants the Foreshore Advisory Committee the opportunity to review and refine long-term priorities. So I'm hoping that this approach will ensure both immediate action and long-term accountability. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Swan. Councillor Brown.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with Councillor Swan that I think we need to get something on the table pretty quickly so that we don't miss out on this grant application. And just reiterating the fact that the Foreshore Advisory Committee is a very important committee that we have. And as we heard, they've been involved in kind of the decision making of this for a long time. So it's important we kind of get or have consultation with them. So thank you. I support this. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Anyone wish to speak against? Anyone wish to speak for? I shall put it. All those in favour? Carried, no dissent. Thank you, councillors. Item 14. Oh, sorry, it's the amendment. Sorry, all those in favour of the amendment that's gone through. Going back to the motion as amended. All those in favour of the motion as amended? Carried, no dissent. Thank you. Don't need to speak to it. Councillor Cameron.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I attended the Audit and Risk Committee meeting, the Royal Agricultural Show, not the Royal Agricultural Show, the Caravan and Camping Show at the Royal Agricultural Society grounds, which was, it looked pretty successful to me. And that's all for me, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cameron. Councillor Mayne. Thanks, Councillor Mayne. Councillor Hatton.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I was at the visioning workshop too. I went to a busy bee with the Friends of Lake Clermont. I went to night chats last week with the Friends of Lake Clermont and watched Paul Kelly, the speaker, put the wind up everyone regarding the borer and trees and things. And today I went to Joan Tocock's funeral. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hatton. Councillor Franklin.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I too attended the Lake Clermont Advisory Committee meeting, which minutes are in today's meeting. The Friends of Lake Clermont chat about trees with Councillor Paul Kelly. The visioning workshop looking at Clermont's future for a Saturday. I thought that was a time well spent. And I'm very sad to note the passing of 105-year-old Joan Tocock, who was significantly involved in the setting up of the Friends of Lake Clermont, and until the last few years was a frequent walker around Lake Clermont. Even when she had a walker, she used to toddle around the lake, and so she's been there for decades. So, and we had a 100th birthday party here in this room, 5 years ago, and so it's probably time, but it's very sad to note her passing.
Thank you, Councillor Franklin. Thank you for noting that particular point. Councillor Brown.
Thank you. I went to the Art in the Open, a magic garden awaits, with the kids down at the Bayview Community Centre. I went during the day, so I understand there was kind of a day and a night event, but it was good to see there was lots of activities. The hall was really well used, and there was lots of people down there and hanging around for an hour or two, so it was great to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Councillor Swan.
I attended our budgeting workshop and our visioning workshop. I also went to an International Women's Day breakfast at Methodist Ladies College. They focused on the ongoing need to ensure that women and girls have equitable opportunities in sport, and how, things like, equal change rooms and things like that are still, and space is still a struggle. And as we all know, team sports is very much linked to leadership and other great attributes, so it's something to consider. I did want to make note that Town of Clermont actually does have an initiative and a community partnership with Clermont Football Club's Youth Group Development Squad, and this initiative helps young girls with a passion for talented football to develop the skills, so I'm very proud that Town of Clermont is doing that. and I love to see the children today come and represent their school to try and advocate for soccer. Soccer, what are they called? Sticks? What are they called? Goals? Obviously, I'm not very for the town. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Swan. And like everybody else here, I attended the visioning workshop. I also attended the Art in the Open, and it was in the daytime, unfortunately, so I didn't get to see the lighting up at night. But that's it for me. And 16-0, 17-0. Future meetings of council is 29th of April, and declare the meeting closed at 8:05. Thank you, councillors. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.